Gary Sanchez is freaking him. What a huge win for the boys yesterday and a huge swing by Gary. That is actually the difference in the game. We win 6-3, 3 runs, the 3-run home run by Sanchez in the first inning. And that was actually the difference in the game, as I mentioned, because it would only have been a 1-run inning. But Gary comes up huge with 2 outs. And he's just been a great piece for the Padres. What a great pickup. And I just want to say he's really saving the Padres because the Padres had an absolute black hole at the catching position. It's no secret. Lily Mudd said it on the broadcast. Nola has been doing absolutely nothing. And Gary Sanchez has been coming up huge, big swings, big power. And it looks like he's reaching that ceiling because Gary Sanchez is a guy who's a very high ceiling. I think we all know that. 34 home runs 1 year at the Yankees, 33 home runs another. It's just hard for him to reach it all the time because of how inconsistent he can be. But right now, everything seems to be clicking with the Padres. And again, we're not asking Gary to hit 300. We're asking him to hit bombs and play okay defense. He's not the best defender, but he's okay at framing. All good if he's hitting bombs like this. So I want to read out some stats just so you guys know the difference in production the Padres have been getting with Gary Sanchez and Austin Nola. So in 13 games with the Padres, Sanchez has 6 home runs, and in 229 career games with the Padres, Nola has 9 home runs. And this year, Gary Sanchez has 13 hits total. There's 1 with the New York Mets when he was on the Mets for 3 games. He played 16 games all year so far, and Nola has 15 hits in 44 games so far this year. So Gary Sanchez is just getting it done, pretty much both sides of the ball. I can't even say his defense has been bad. He's been throwing out runners. He just looks great all around. And the Padres are just getting great production out of a position that we've gotten nothing from. And on days that Sanchez can't catch, he's a great DH. He's putting power in the lineup. It's not like we're getting anything from Matt Carpenter, nothing from Nelson Cruz, who just came off the IL. I just think what a job by Sanchez. I mean, honestly, he's been huge for us. I do want to talk about the game. There was some good things, obviously, and some bad things. But first, I want to shout out the pitching. Yet again, the Padres pitching have been so big for us this year. It's no secret. As a team with the lowest batting average with runners in scoring position, you would think that we would be like bottom of the barrel, worst of the worst, like 28th, 29th, 30th in baseball. The Padres are in the wild card race, and that is because of pitching. And think about it like this, guys. The Padres are very similar to the New York Mets, in my opinion. Very high payroll. The Padres have the 3rd highest in baseball. The Mets have the 1st highest in baseball. But the difference with the Mets is that their pitching sucks and their hitting sucks, but we got good pitching. The bullpen has been locked down, lights out. Huge job. Nice job by Josh Hader in the 9th. Congrats to him on 600 strikeouts. It's just the Padres and the Mets are a similar team, but you know what changes? Pitching, and pitching wins championships. And if the Padres offense gets going, goodness gracious, guys, watch out. That's going to be huge for us. But I want to say nice job by Joe. He looks a lot better as of late. I think the struggles in the beginning of the season was just a result of him coming back from that injury. It didn't really look like he was himself, but now he's looking to gain his footing. Great job by Joe. Great job by the bullpen. But the offense was good yesterday, but there was a lot of inconsistency that I want to mention. You think about the game that we lost against the Rockies just a few days ago. There was that streak when the Padres were retired 15 in a row, and that's not good enough. When the Padres are not getting on 15 times in a row, that is not good enough. But the Padres yesterday, there was a couple innings when we weren't really getting anything going, but we had the big swings, and that's all that matters. And guys, 6 runs is very solid. Yes, we could have scored a lot more. There was a little bit of that offensive inconsistencies that we've been talking about all season long. All right. But just getting it done with the big swing in the first inning, it really set the tone and gave us the momentum all game. Yes, the Guardians kind of clawed back a little bit, but that huge home run by Sanchez was a big momentum changer for the Padres, and that was a reason that we were able to win that game because it set the tone for the rest of the game, that we were in charge, locked in. We did struggle in the middle of the game, like I mentioned, but at the end of the day, we got it done and we get the win. And I just want to talk about what's next for the Padres catching situation, because at this point, I think Austin Nola should start learning Japanese. I mean, there's no way he's going to be on this team much longer. And like I said in a video about a week or 2 ago, and the reason why Austin Nola is still on this team, listen, guys, it's AJ Preller and his pride. Let's talk about this. So we did trade for Austin Nola in 2020, and we gave up big pieces, Andres Munoz and Ty France. And oh my goodness, what a freaking terrible trade that is. Ty France is a good player, an all-star caliber player. Andres Munoz throws 103 with a 94-mile-an-hour wipeout slider. He's nasty. He's absolutely disgusting. He made the Padres look like a joke when he faced us. I just want to say, Preller's prideful, guys. He knows he effed up the trade. I don't think anybody denies that. But here's the thing. It is embarrassing right now for him to have Austin Nola on this team because it's his fault that we have him. But it would be even more embarrassing for AJ to release him or DFA him because it shows that he's not even on the team anymore. I think Preller's just got to, let it go. Just get rid of him. All right, we get it. You messed up the trade. AJ Preller, in my opinion, sorry, guys, I don't think he's good at all. I think he makes really stupid contracts. I think he overpays people just to make sure we get him. I mean, I just don't like AJ Preller, and I don't think he makes good moves overall. And this is a great example. Austin Nola, yes, He was good catcher on the Mariners. Nobody's denying that. Career 825 OPS on the Mariners. That is very solid for a catcher. He was a rookie in 2019, had a great 2020 on the Mariners, and then came to the Padres. Wasn't great. It wasn't bad for a catcher, but he just wasn't what we thought we'd get. And then 2021, he's injured kind of most of the season, didn't play a lot, had a really big hot streak in August. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was a period of time when Nola wouldn't get out in August. It was kind of crazy. But then this year, it just really comes together where he just sucks. And I don't know what it is, guys. I mean, he was a good catcher, and he actually was drafted as an infielder. He actually went to catching in the minor leagues. He almost quit baseball when he was a minor leaguer, but then he switched to catching and started liking it. So why is he so bad at hitting? I don't know. And that's just the question. And we give up good pieces for him. Like Ty France and Andres Munoz, those are great proven MLB players. Austin Nola, yes, he was, I guess, proven, you can say. But at this point, it's just the whole train has gone to crap. You know what I mean? And Preller doesn't want to get rid of him because of his pride. That's just the reality of the situation. I mean, when you got a guy as prideful of AJ Preller, I mean, there's no other explanation for him being on this team, Austin Nola. What would you guys say? Why is he still on this team? At least Brett Sullivan, yes, he's a terrible hitter too. He's got a 180 on base percentage, but at least Brett Sullivan plays great defense. He's made some great defensive plays for this club. You think about that Nationals game when Rougned Odor hit the go-ahead home run after that terrible 7th inning where we gave 5 runs, give up the lead, and it was just everything was going to crap. Brett Sullivan on the pass ball, he runs, dives and tags the guy in the foot. He's made some great plays, great blocks, saving wild pitches. Honestly, Brett Sullivan's a good catcher. And if we can have a day like this, because obviously you guys know catchers can't catch every day. It's too hard on their knees. 162 games in a season, 9 innings a game. It's a really freaking hard job. All right. I don't think anybody's denying that. But let's think about this. Maybe 1 out of the 3 games or something like that, Sullivan gets to start at catching, and then Gary just DHs. Because like I said earlier, our DH position has not been good. Matt Carpenter is pretty much washed at this point. I guess last year at the Yankees was just a fluke in the small sample size. He only had 128 at bats for the Yankees, although he did slug 727, which is absolutely ridiculous. But Matt Carpenter, it just looks like, he's not very good anymore. He's not getting on base. He's not hitting for much power. He's got 4 homers on the year. It just, nothing looks great from him. Nelson Cruz, it looks like Father Time is catching up with him. We mentioned he got the eye surgery after the last season when he did struggle. But in 2021, that dude was a dog. He was an all-star at age, what was it, 40 or something? And I just don't think Nelson Cruz is very good anymore either. So we really don't have a great DH position right now. Because I think that we can just have one of those days where Sullivan goes in and then Gary DHs. And I think that's fine. That's perfect with me. Because yes, we want Gary to catch pretty much every day, but he can't. So having his bat in the lineup every day, that is a must, and that can happen. So hopefully Gary can do that, and Bob Melvin puts him in at, somewhere in the lineup every day as at least as a hitter. But I just think that we are not mentioning how good our bullpen has been. Our bullpen has been absolutely lights out. It's one of the best in baseball. And I think that we just get kind of blinded by how inconsistent the offense has been. And we're still showing inconsistencies even on our wins. As I mentioned, guys, yes, 6 runs, but that was mostly on that big swing by Sánchez. And we had a lot of dead periods in the game. When that reliever came in and gave 6 straight outs, that's exactly what Terry Francona wanted. It's just kind of things like that. And it goes back to the Colorado series. When we only score 3 runs against Nelson Lamet and 4 then that whole game, that's just not good enough at Coors Field. And the big part was when 15 in a row got retired by Rockies pitching. I think if the Padres can just continue to put up good at bats, that's going to be huge for us. And who puts up really good at bats? Juan Soto. And yes, Juan Soto is not really hitting for as much average as we'd like him to. He's in the 259 or something. He did get up to 271 at once this year. But Juan Soto puts a good at bats. He takes balls, he executes. I want him to swing the bat a little bit more on some of those strikes in the outside corner, but he's getting a little bit better. Juan Soto is a good player because he puts up good at bats. That's why the on-base percentage is so high. That is the problem with Fernando right now. Tatis is great. He's having a really good year overall, but not as good as what he's been in the past. And that is simply because he's not getting on base enough. He's got an on-base percentage of around 330. I think it was 327 right now to this point. That's not high enough. You've got to be getting on at least 36% of the time. That comes from walks. We can walk. That's huge. That's like the equivalent as a single. And we need to learn to have less selfish at bats. It doesn't need to be I need to be the guy to do it. It doesn't mean I got to have the big hit. It's next guy up. And you think about it, why teams always have good rallies in late innings, especially when a season's on the line in a 9th inning in a wild card game. Everybody knows your run doesn't matter or whatever. It's next guy up. And I think if we can have that next guy up mindset, the Padres are going to be executing on offense a lot better. Because yes, it is murderer's row, but we're just not doing enough consistently. We can't have flyouts in the first pitch of the at bat. Tatis, I love how he's aggressive. I love the first pitch swing, but some point I think he should just take some more pitches. And that's not to say I don't want him to swing at the first pitch, but I think that he should just consider being a tiny bit less aggressive, at least in the first at bat of the game. Because if he can get on, it completely changes the inning. You think about it like this. When we get a BS strike call, like ball inside or in the outside corner, umpire calls it a strike and then he's down 0-1. That changes the entire complexity of the at bat. You guys got to understand, counts change at bats by hundreds of batting average points. And if we can just take better pitches, put up better swings consistently, this team's going to be better because our offensive at bats will put more pressure on the pitching. I love how aggressive this team could be, but at some point we got to put up some more consistent at bats that are really, really careful and really delicate towards helping this team get on base. Base runners are precious in the game of baseball. You think about it like, a bloop and a blast, there's a huge 2-run home run instead of a 1. The Padres, when they were struggling a lot, there was a big problem with all the solo home runs. Like, I think it was like 9 of their last 11 home runs were solo home runs. It is huge to get base runners on base, whether it be anything, just putting the ball in play, limit the strikeout, take a chance on it. Maybe he boots the ground ball and you beat it out in the infield. That's why I think that Juan Soto's at-bats are so good, because he's actually getting on base at such a high clip. That's why the OPS plus is so high. That's why the OPS is high. And I think if everybody can model that a little bit more, that'd be better. I think Cronenworth is looking a little bit better at the plate lately. I mean, overall, he's still one of the most overpaid players in baseball. I mean, you want to talk about how bad AJ Preller is? Think about it like this, guys. Ronald Acuña Jr. is getting paid $100 million for 8 years, and Jake Cronenworth is getting paid $80 million for 7 years. And if you want to do the calculations, I'm pretty sure those are some two pretty different players. But I am happy with how Jake is looking as of late. He's not expanding the zone more. He's going the other way a little bit more, and that's just huge. If you can use all fields, that helps your batting average up so much, and that's why Juan Soto doesn't hit 300 anymore. Yes, he still is a good hitter. He still has a super high OPS plus. But as long as Juan Soto is not a pure balanced hitter like he used to be in the Nationals, he's not going to be the 300 hitter. That's why Luis Arraez is hitting 400. You have to be able to use the entire field, because this is the thing. Juan Soto, if you guys notice, on the beginning of his at-bats, he'll take like a slider on the outside corner, and he's already down 0-1. Back in Washington, he used to be able to take that pitch the other way for a base hit, for even a home run. You guys have to understand, it's only to the hitter's best interest to be able to hit every single pitch that the pitcher can throw in every single location. If you can only hit a certain pitch, like a certain location, that takes your batting average down, because the pitcher has to throw it there. And obviously, he's not going to want to throw it there. So this team can learn to use the whole field. It's going to be so much better to us getting on base, to us having more hits, to us putting more pressure on the other teams. You know what I mean? We just have to be able to hit the ball everywhere. If we have power to all fields, if we have base hits to all fields, it's going to be so much better for our at-bats. And I think that's going to be huge for the problem with the inconsistencies of the at-bats. Because sometimes, yes, we do get inconsistent and then we have the big inning. But if we can put up cricket numbers consistently, like, maybe 3 in the second, 2 in the fifth, and then like 2 in the seventh, you know what I mean? Something like that. Obviously, that is really hard to do. But if the Padres can put up better at-bats, I think that is going to be huge. And then we have to do this by taking more walks and using the whole field. That's what Juan Soto struggles to do now. And if Juan Soto can get back to using the whole field, we've seen it a couple times. You think of that 5-for-5 day. Why was he going 5-for-5? Because he was going to the opposite field, guys. If he wasn't able to swing at that pitch, you just take it for strike 3 or just ground out to second base. Because when you take pitches on the outside corner for the first pitch of the bat, first strike, you're already lowering your batting average. Like batting averages go down like 150 points if you're down 0-1 versus a 1-0 count. That is why it's so crucial to be able to take that outer half and take the ball the other way. And I think that's going to be crucial for the Padres to be more consistent as an offense, even if we're winning the game. But I think that the Padres' job is just to sweep the series. It's going to be so crucial for the Padres to go 4-2 in this homestand, and I think we can do it. If we get hot, we're going to be dangerous, because we're actually a good team. You think of the Oakland A's, any team can get hot. The Oakland A's have won 7 in a row, and they suck. They're like a double-A team, and they win 7 in a row. If you can catch fire, it's going to be so important for us to keep executing on all facets of the game, and we're going to be so much better. If we can catch fire right now, it's going to be huge, because if we're going in the All-Star break, we're going into July, it's going to be so crucial for this Padres team to have some momentum. I do want to mention this. Obviously, it sucks that this team overall this year has underperformed to a great level, but think about it like this, guys. It is great that this is not happening late in the year. You think of 2020 when the Padres went like 11-28 to end that season or something like that. They got absolutely ice cold. The only guy who was doing anything was really, Fernando. And it's just like, this is a team sport. If everybody can be executing on all facets of the game, everybody gets hot. The pitching stays hot. The pitching has been red hot. If the hitters can stay consistent, which is the name of the game, this is going to be a dangerous team, and we can sweep the homestand. I'm not saying that's probably going to happen. It's probably not, but we can go 4-2. And like I say all the time, it is crucial for this Padres team to prove that we can beat good teams, because this team is a good team. You look at this lineup: Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, maybe even Jake Cronenworth, if you want to throw that out there, for what he's been in past years. Gary Sánchez for what he's been in past years and what he's doing right now. This team is freaking dangerous, guys. Our pitching is great right now. Snell's looking great. It looks like second half Snell is here in the first half. Do you guys understand how crucial that's going to be if we have a second half pitcher here the whole season? Blake Snell, if he can keep getting better, keep this up, it's going to be so big for the Padres. Joe Musgrove is starting to gain his footing after being, sidelined with that injury and really getting off to a slower start. Yu Darvish is still a little inconsistent, but as long as he can pick up some momentum, that's going to be huge. Michael Wacha, lights out. What a job by him. He's been so great this year. The NL pitcher of the month in May. Like, guys, you guys got to understand, if this team can catch fire, we're going to be in business. And like I say, we have a tough schedule. The Guardians are not a bad team. They're a solid team. The Tampa Bay Rays are freaking insane, although they did just drop 2 to the A's. So hopefully that helps us get some momentum, help make them cold. If they can get on a cold stretch and we come in with a hot stretch, if we sweep this series, that's going to be so huge. I just think that if we can just stay consistent on all facets of the game, the pitching continues to execute, the hitting starts to be more consistent. We put up better at bats. We use the whole field. We strike out less. We take more walks. The Padres are going to be in business pretty soon. And as long as we gain momentum now, it's better that the slump didn't happen at the end of the year and rather in the beginning of the year. So that's so much better. If this team can catch fire, it's a long season. I hate using that excuse. But if this team gets hot for a while, it's going to be a good ride, and I think it's going to be great. But let me know what you guys all think about all of this, about the Padres, about this Guardian series, about the upcoming Rays series, about how crucial it would be for us to get, a 4-2 homestand if we can do it, about the consistency of the team, about the pitching being great, about Gary Sanchez freaking saving us. Let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know what you guys want me to talk about in the next podcast in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Thank you guys for watching this podcast. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.